Okay, well, thank you very much. This is a truly historic day, a very, very important day, especially in a beautiful part of the world. I'm pleased to announce a truly historic commitment. Serbia and Kosovo have each committed to economic normalization.
In 2016, when I voted for Hillary Clinton, I thought that if Trump won the election, not only the US, but the entire world might descend into chaos. I could have never imagined that I would be voting for Trump in 2020, and never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that Trump would get a Nobel Peace Prize. But given the recent deals that he has brokered, goddamn, I think he might just get one. Let's get into it. As most of us know, earlier this month, President Trump brokered a deal between the United Arab Emirates and Israel, a historic deal. UAE and Israel have normalized relations, and last week we saw the first historic flight between Israel and UAE. A flight went from Israel to the UAE filled with diplomats. Bahrain and Saudi Arabia has said that they would allow these flights to fly over their airspace. A first step towards normalizing relations, if you ask me. Now, I'm no fan of the Saudis. I don't think many of us here are, but if the Saudis and Israel, become friends, that would be good for the world. And bad for Iran. Just for this, President Trump should be seriously considered for a Nobel Peace Prize. After all, President Barack Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize months into his presidency for strengthening international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. This is the same guy that made it rain fire from drones in the Middle East, killing over 2,000 people, and of course claiming that only killed about 100 civilians, but they considered every male over the age of 18 a combatant, so whoopsie. If potential peace in the Middle East wasn't enough, how about this? Today, Trump oversaw an agreement between Serbia and Kosovo. Kosovo split from Serbia in 2008 following a brutal war. So you can imagine, these sides weren't very fond of each other. Kosovo, a Muslim-majority country, has agreed to recognize Israel for the first time. This led Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, to say that they would establish diplomatic relations with Kosovo. A great step towards peace. Alexander Vučić, the president of Serbia, has also agreed to move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, following the steps of the US. Israel is quite thankful for this, as they believe that Jerusalem is the true capital. And by the way, if you thought this guy was Alexander Vučić, then I got news for you, my friend. You are a racist. This is Nikolai Vucevic, center of the Orlando Magic. This is Alexander Vučić. Trump is able to get these unprecedented deals done because he approaches the situation from a different point of view. After all, he wasn't a politician all his life.
After a violent and tragic history and years of failed negotiations, my administration proposed a new way of bridging the divide. By focusing on job creation and economic growth, the two countries were able to reach a major breakthrough, something that nobody thought was going to be possible, and I think it's going to work out very well, and we're going to be working with them.
The Hill, a media outlet that in my opinion is pretty decent, it's got Republican and Democratic points of views going on, had an interesting piece. I'm going to read it to you guys. Friday's agreement reflects President Trump's long-held vision of Kosovo and Serbia to focus on economic development, job creation, and industrial development as prerequisites to the permanent resolutions of political disputes. His belief from the start has been that trust is built first in the process of creating opportunities and futures for young people, rather than in settlement of scores, symbolism, or the righting of historical wrongs. The US will spend the next year implementing these new agreements, and the people and governments of Kosovo and Serbia have the full trust of the US government to carry them forward. I think this is something to consider too, why he should be considered for the Nobel Peace Prize. He approaches these war-torn, hateful situations as in, hey, who wants an opportunity for a better life? All of you? Let's make money together, and for that, we need to chill out and have some peace. It's very interesting. Like the UAE and Israel deal was good for the world because, among other things, it went against Iran's agenda, this deal goes against the agendas of China and Russia. Why? Because neither of them has ever recognized Kosovo's independence. The deals being brokered by the Trump administration are truly historic. They are strengthening the positions of U.S. allies and at the same time weakening the positions of Iran, China, and Russia. More importantly, is bringing together enemies, bitter enemies, and that will obviously bring peace to a world filled with chaos. So what do you think? Should Trump get a Nobel Peace Prize? Comment down below. I think he should at least be considered. Like, subscribe. Ginger out.
Thank you.